Welcome back to Carrick United Analysis. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. This is the place where Manchester United fans come to get honest, clear, and reliable breakdowns of everything happening at our club. No noise, no wild guessing, just real information explained simply so every single fan understands exactly what is going on. If that sounds like your kind of channel, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and let us get into today's story, because a rival manager has just given Marcus Rashford a genuinely warm send-off. Manchester United fans, have you seen what Barcelona manager Hansi had to say about Marcus Rashford? Because after a season that completely transformed how the football world views our returning forward, Flick took the time to speak openly and warmly about exactly what Rashford meant to Barcelona during his loan spell. Let us break down everything Flick actually said, the numbers behind Rashford's remarkable season in Spain, and what this all means as he now looks to rebuild his career back at Old Trafford. Setting the scene, why Flick's words carry real weight. Let us start with some context, because understanding exactly who is delivering this praise makes it considerably more meaningful. Hansi Flick is one of the most respected coaches working anywhere in world football today. A manager who has previously won the Champions League and led Barcelona to major domestic success since taking charge. When a manager of this caliber speaks warmly about a player who spent just a single season under his guidance, it carries genuine significance, not simply polite, throwaway comments made for the sake of media obligation. Flick addressed Rashford's departure during his press conference following Barcelona's preseason friendly against Birmingham City, a match that ended 2-2 before Barcelona lost the resulting penalty shootout 3-2. Speaking honestly about the situation, Flick made his admiration for Rashford abundantly clear. What Flick actually said about Rashford, let us go through his genuine comments properly, because they paint a really positive picture of exactly how Rashford's season in Spain unfolded. Flick said that what he could tell everyone about Rashford was that he genuinely appreciated working with him. He described Rashford as a fantastic player and a fantastic person, adding that the entire team would miss him, just as he personally would miss him too. He also spoke honestly about the difficult nature of loan situations in general, acknowledging that clubs never quite know exactly what will happen with players who join on a temporary basis, and that Barcelona's own situation made keeping him permanently a genuinely difficult decision. Think about the sincerity in those words. Rather than offering generic, polite praise, Flick specifically highlighted Rashford's character alongside his footballing quality, describing him as a fantastic person as well as a fantastic player. That kind of genuine personal tribute tells you a great deal about how well Rashford conducted himself throughout his time in Spain, both on the pitch and within the dressing room environment. Doesn't it say something really positive about a player's professionalism and attitude when a manager of Flick's stature speaks about him in such genuinely warm, personal terms? The numbers behind Rashford's remarkable season. Let us talk about exactly what Rashford achieved during his time at Barcelona, because the statistics genuinely back up all of this warm praise. Rashford scored 14 goals across 49 appearances in all competitions during his loan spell, playing a real part in Barcelona's La Liga title triumph. Think about the magnitude of that achievement. This is a player who had struggled for regular playing time and consistent form during the final stages of his previous United career, arriving in an entirely new football culture, having to adapt to a different language, a different style of play, and completely different expectations, and still managing to deliver genuinely productive numbers across a full, demanding season. Contributing directly to a title-winning campaign at one of the biggest clubs in world football represents exactly the kind of achievement that should give United fans real confidence about the version of Rashford now returning to Old Trafford. This was not simply a solid, unremarkable loan spell. This was a genuinely successful season that helped rebuild his reputation across European football. Why Barcelona ultimately chose not to keep him. Let us talk honestly about why, despite all of this genuine praise and productive form, Barcelona ultimately chose not to make Rashford's move permanent. Barcelona held an option to sign Rashford for a fee in the region of £26 million this summer. However, the club ultimately chose not to activate that clause, instead investing considerably more heavily in Anthony Gordon from Newcastle United, in a deal worth around £70 million. Reports also indicated Barcelona's own financial situation played a genuine role in this decision, rather than the choice reflecting any lack of appreciation for Rashford's contribution during the season. This is an important detail to understand properly. Flick's warm words about missing Rashford genuinely appear consistent with the club's actual actions and constraints, rather than simply representing hollow praise offered after a decision to move in a different direction. Sometimes a genuinely valued player still ends up departing a club, not because of any doubt about his quality or contribution, but because of the practical, financial, and strategic realities every football club has to navigate. Rashford's own emotional goodbye to Barcelona. Let us also talk about how Rashford himself responded to this news, because his own reaction reflects just how positive this entire experience genuinely was for him personally. Following confirmation that his time at Barcelona had come to an end, Rashford took to social media to formally thank the club and its supporters. He described himself as extremely grateful to everyone at the club for turning his time there into such a positive and unforgettable experience. That kind of heartfelt, genuine message from the player himself reinforces everything Flick had already said, painting a picture of a loan spell that clearly meant a great deal to Rashford on both a professional and personal level. Think about the contrast this represents compared to how his United career had appeared to be heading before this loan spell began. A player who had seemingly lost his way and his enjoyment for the game during a difficult period at Old Trafford, rediscovering both his form and his genuine happiness playing football during a single transformative season in Spain. Why this matters so much for United fans right now? Let us think carefully about why all of this genuinely matters heading into the new season under Michael Carrick. Rashford now returns to Manchester United carrying real, tangible proof of his continued quality and professionalism, rather than simply hoping his old talent might somehow resurface. 14 goals and genuine title-winning contribution at one of the biggest clubs in world football represents concrete evidence that the player who once looked lost during his final months under the previous regime has rediscovered both his form and his enjoyment for the game. Flick's specific praise for his character, as well as his footballing ability, also matters enormously, given the context of how Rashford's previous United exit unfolded. His fresh start under Carrick, with a completely different managerial relationship compared to the one that led to his original exile, appears to be building on genuinely positive foundations, both in terms of proven footballing quality and reported professionalism and attitude throughout his time away. What Andy Mitten's insight tells us about United's thinking. It is worth mentioning an interesting detail that emerged around this same period. Reported comments from respected United journalist Andy Mitten suggesting there is now a genuinely strong chance, described as around 80%, that Rashford will indeed play for United again this season. This represents a significant shift compared to earlier in the year, when a permanent departure from the club appeared to be the far more likely outcome. This kind of insight suggests that the genuinely positive picture painted by both Flick's tribute and Rashford's own successful season in Spain has meaningfully shifted the club's own internal thinking about his future. Rather than simply looking to move him on as quickly as possible, there now appears to be real, genuine consideration being given to properly reintegrating him into Carrick's first-team plans. Carrick's own approach to assessing Rashford. Let us think about how Carrick himself is expected to handle this situation as pre-season continues to develop. Reports suggest Carrick intends to properly assess Rashford once he returns from his extended post-World Cup break, rather than making any immediate, rushed judgment about his long-term role in the squad. This kind of measured, patient approach makes complete sense given everything that has happened over these past 2 years. Rather than either immediately guaranteeing him a starting role based purely on reputation, or dismissing his chances before he has even had a proper opportunity to train and perform under the new coaching staff, Carrick appears set to give him a genuine, fair chance to prove exactly what he can offer this United squad moving forward. It is also worth noting that United are not under any obligation to sell Rashford, and reports confirm no suitable permanent offer for his services has yet emerged from elsewhere. This gives the club genuine flexibility in how they choose to handle his reintegration, without feeling pressured into any hasty decision either way. Why the timing of this praise matters. Let us think about why Flick's comments arrive at such a genuinely significant moment in Rashford's ongoing story. This tribute comes right as Rashford prepares to link up with the rest of United's squad in Dublin, alongside fellow returning players Kobbie Mainoo and Lisandro Martinez. Having this kind of genuine, positive endorsement from a respected rival manager circulating publicly right as he begins this crucial reintegration period adds a real sense of momentum and goodwill to his return, rather than him needing to rebuild his reputation completely from scratch upon arrival back at Carrington. Think about the psychological boost this kind of public praise can offer too. Walking back into a first-team environment carrying genuine, recent proof of top-level success rather than simply hoping to rediscover past form, likely provides Rashford himself with real confidence heading into this important new chapter of his career. The bigger picture, what this means for United's attacking options. Let us zoom out and think about how Rashford's return, backed by this kind of genuine positive endorsement, fits into United's broader attacking plans heading into the new season. United have already invested significantly in rebuilding other areas of the squad this summer, and having a proven, in-form attacking option returning without requiring any additional transfer fee represents excellent value, provided he can maintain the level of performance and professionalism he showed throughout his time at Barcelona. Combined with existing attacking options like Bryan Mbeumo, who has continued impressing throughout preseason, and Matthias Cunha, Rashford's return adds genuine depth and quality to Carrick's attacking options heading into a long, demanding campaign across multiple competitions. The moment that changed everything, Rashford's title-winning free kick. Let us talk properly about the single biggest moment of Rashford's entire loan spell. Because there is one specific match that turned his story from a solid, productive loan into something genuinely remarkable, the exact kind of moment that explains why Flick speaks about him with such real warmth. Barcelona sealed the La Liga title with a 2-0 win over their fiercest rivals, Real Madrid, at the Camp Nou, and it was Rashford who opened the scoring. In just the 9th minute, he stepped up to a free kick and sent a stunning dipping strike beyond Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois and into the top corner. Ferran Torres doubled the lead shortly after, and Barcelona went on to complete a genuinely historic achievement, becoming the first side in nearly a century to have a Spanish top-flight title decided directly by an El Clasico victory. Think about the size of that moment. This was not simply a goal in a routine league fixture. This was the exact goal that delivered Barcelona's title, scored in the biggest, most pressurized fixture in Spanish football, against Barcelona's most bitter historical rivals. For a player who arrived in Spain having been frozen out of his own boyhood club just months earlier, delivering a moment of that magnitude on that stage represents about as complete a redemption story as football can produce. Doesn't it give you real confidence seeing exactly what Rashford is capable of when he steps up in genuinely huge moments? Why this specific goal mattered so much beyond the title itself? Let us think about why this particular moment carried such significance beyond simply the 3 points and the trophy itself. Reports from around this period noted that Rashford had not always been a guaranteed starter throughout his time at Barcelona, and that questions remained about whether the club would ultimately trigger their purchase option to sign him permanently. This specific El Clasico appearance was actually his first start in 5 matches, yet it produced his 3rd goal in that same short span, a pattern of a player consistently delivering big contributions regardless of how much regular playing time he was actually receiving. Coverage from the time also captured something interesting about the atmosphere surrounding his situation. Journalists covering Flick's post-match press conference that night noted that not a single question was asked about Rashford specifically, despite him having just scored the title-clinching goal. He was described as something of an afterthought in the wider media narrative, quietly contributing to what had become 28 goal involvements in less than 50 appearances and earning his first-ever top-flight league winning medal, all while working in the shadow of Barcelona's other superstar attacking talents. That detail actually tells you something rather admirable about how Rashford approached this entire loan spell. Rather than needing to be the center of every conversation or every headline, he appears to have quietly gone about delivering genuinely important contributions, allowing his performances to speak for themselves rather than seeking out the spotlight. For a player once associated with plenty of off-field noise and distraction during the more difficult periods of his United career, that kind of understated, team-focused professionalism represents a genuinely encouraging sign. The full scale of his goal contribution numbers. Let us take a proper, complete look at exactly how productive this Barcelona loan spell turned out to be, because the numbers genuinely tell an impressive story from start to finish. Across the full season, Rashford was directly involved in a remarkable number of goals for Barcelona, contributing 14 goals himself and being credited with either 11 or 14 assists depending on the specific source, giving him a combined tally of goal involvements that any attacking player at a major European club would be proud of. Reports at various stages of the season reference figures as high as 28 combined goal contributions in under 50 appearances, an outstanding rate of output for a player working his way back into form after such a difficult period. He also found the net during Barcelona's win over Elche, continuing to build his tally as the season progressed, and reports noted that this represented his fifth goal since arriving on loan at that stage of the campaign, part of a consistent pattern of regular scoring throughout large parts of the season, rather than a single standout month followed by a quiet spell. Think about what this level of sustained output actually tells us. This was not a case of one big performance carrying an otherwise underwhelming loan spell. This was consistent, repeated delivery across an entire season at one of the biggest and most demanding clubs anywhere in world football, playing under a manager as respected and tactically demanding as Hansi Flick. Rashford's remarkable World Cup summer with England. Let us also talk about what came immediately after this incredible club season, because Rashford's story did not stop once his Barcelona loan spell concluded. He carried that same form directly into a genuinely memorable World Cup campaign with England this summer. Rashford was named in Thomas Tuchel's squad for the tournament, arriving with an impressive record of 18 goals from around 70 senior caps for his country, and he played his part in helping England reach the semi-finals of the competition. He scored during England's group stage win over Croatia, coming off the bench to make an immediate impact, and continued to feature at various stages throughout the tournament as England progressed through the knockout rounds, including appearances in matches against Panama and DR Congo. That progression eventually led to an England recall from Thomas Tuchel, and ultimately to a starring role in England's run to the World Cup semi-finals this summer. Think about the scale of that turnaround. A player who had reportedly been told by his own manager that he was less trusted than a 63-year-old goalkeeping coach, transformed within the space of roughly 18 months into a title-winning World Cup semi-finalist, delivering some of the most significant goals of his entire career along the way. Rashford has scored more than 130 goals in over 400 appearances for Manchester United, numbers that place him firmly among the club's most productive academy graduates in the modern era. His trophy collection already includes 2 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, and the Europa League triumph back in the 2016 to 2017 season, along with representing England at 3 separate World Cups across his career so far. Thank you so much for watching today. If this breakdown helped you understand the full and accurate picture behind this genuinely positive update, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and share this video with a fellow United fan who wants the real, accurate story rather than unreliable guesswork. This channel only continues to grow because of supporters exactly like you, and every single one of you watching is part of what makes Carrick United Analysis a trusted home for honest, reliable Manchester United coverage. Until the next video, stay hopeful, stay excited, and welcome Marcus Rashford home with real confidence. Come on, United.